Hello, I'm Gia Mills and I've been a celebrity makeup artist for the past 20 years. I'm also the founder of a sweat-friendly skincare brand and makeup brand, Skin in Motion. I am fascinated by the power of makeup and also intrigued by the politics of beauty. On True Reflections, you get to peek behind the curtains and find out what your favourite celebrity really feels about their appearance when the glare of the media is upon them. We explore what beauty and attractiveness really means to them, revealing the hidden truths that often go unnoticed. So who is with me today? My guest today has brought out a paperback version of her first novel, Isolation Island, using her skills as a newsreader to deliver the facts and her time in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here to deliver the fiction, as she has created a gripping read on the possible dangers of being a contestant on an extreme reality TV show. So please welcome to True Reflections, Louise Minchin.
Oh, it's so lovely to see you. And I felt really bad, like looking at you during that intro because I know the pressure.
And I've been watching you for many, many years and
Probably decades.
No. I can't even, my menopause grey won't allow me to think that far back. But thank you very much for coming in. And I'm fascinated by so many things about you, but I want to dive in first because we're all about, the podcast is all about beauty and makeup. So you started off growing up in Hong Kong, moved to the UK, and went into journalism. But to your own admission, you weren't really a sort of makeup-y girl, more a tomboy, I think it's sort of coined.
And I am still. I mean, I'm wearing makeup today, but only because I'm seeing you. If I'm not seeing anybody in the day.
Or you're on telly.
Or on telly, exactly. I would not even put lipstick on. And that's been consistent throughout my whole life. When I was little, I loved, just as I still do now, being outside, being in the cold, the mud, whatever it is, having adventures outside, swimming, running, all those things. And still, those are the most important things to me.
Yeah.
And it always amazes me when, for example, I get out of, I don't know, there's a lake where I swim near home, and I'll get out of the lake looking an absolute wreck, having, hair everywhere and all the rest of it, and my goggle marks. And people recognise me, and I go, how can that even, I don't see Louise who's just got out of a lake and Louise who was presenting breakfast as the same. Of course I'm the same person, but I really genuinely have two separate identities, and I find it amazing that people can recognise me in both spaces.
It is funny, isn't it, when you don't wear makeup and when you do wear makeup. And I think people often apologise. Like if you're going for a run, if I've gone running and I bump into someone I know, I'm like, and I know lots of people who do this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm not wearing makeup. Lots of us apologise.
Right.
We're not wearing makeup.
I wouldn't apologise.
You do.
No, absolutely no.
That's so good. You're like, I'm not wearing makeup and I'm really proud of it.
I just wouldn't, it's just not it's never been my thing.
Yeah.
And when I grew up, I just never I used to, when I was growing up, the people who were kind of making all the headlines were the supermodels. It was Linda Evangelista and Naomi Campbell and Kate Moss. And they were so unreachable, I think, for me. I never identified that I might ever be doing, trying to make myself look different than I did.
No, it is really interesting. But when did you get to a point where you thought, actually, I need to get into this makeup game?
Genuinely only when I was on the telly, because I was going to look terrible. And you know what telly's like. So telly just makes you look, it just washes you out completely.
You have to really over
for me, going from literally zero makeup to telly makeup was a massive jump, and I just thought I looked ridiculous, actually, because you have to exaggerate all your features, don't you? And obviously now that's
it's a real mask. TV to
real
TV
mask.
Makeup.
So imagine going from zero to TV makeup was a massive jump, and now I'm kind of like somewhere in between, and we'll come to why I now know how to do my makeup really well. But it's just something that all my life
because I love this. Tell me how you had to learn how to do your own makeup.
Emergency. So this was. COVID was hard times, but I learned a life lesson. So because of this thing where I just don't wear makeup and then have to wear it for my job, I completely and utterly relied on the incredible makeup artist who used to do my makeup at 3, 4 in the morning for BBC Breakfast. And again, I would just sit there because I was focusing on the journalism and the interviews, and I would sit there eating my porridge, drinking my tea, and reading, like you are, the scripts while they did amazing work, made my hair look incredible, all the rest of it. And I never paid any attention to what they were doing. And my anxiety dream, so obviously was concerning me, my work anxiety dream, which I used to have a lot, was that I would be going into work and for some reason the makeup artists were not there.
This was way before COVID.
This is way before COVID, and you mentioned COVID. So that was my anxiety dream at a break. I'm like, oh my gosh, how would I cope? I could not cope if they were not there. I couldn't go on air because it's like my mask. I go on air, looking like Louise Minchin from the telly, and they did that for me. And literally from one day to the next, my actual nightmare happened because one day they were there, the next day they couldn't be there anymore, and I had to start doing my makeup from scratch essentially, and had to learn very, very fast. There was one day when I remember lovely makeup artist Lauren standing in the corner and going, right, this is what you need to do, because she couldn't even show me or come close or anything. And hair is really my biggest problem actually, because hair's really difficult.
It's really tricky to do it on yourself. It's easy to do it on other people, but it's really hard. I hate doing it myself.
Hard. And it's so funny.
So your dream was telling you something.
So my dream was warning us all to
learn how to do this.
Anyway, so I had to learn very quickly, and there's definitely, you can see there's sort of an arc. If you go back to those early COVID days, you can see that I was not very good at it. And then I got much, much better, and of course much quicker.
Yeah.
And by the time, in fact, the makeup artist never came back before I left BBC Breakfast. So I left BBC Breakfast in September 21, I think. Is that right?
Okay, yeah, it was still
and it was still COVID, so they never came back.
Because I remember watching telly once, laughing to myself during COVID.
You would have been laughing at my makeup.
You would have laughed. No, it was hair. And I remember seeing some poor presenter, breakfast telly person, and they had a tuft of hair just sticking out.
Oh my gosh.
And clearly the cameramen aren't briefed to know.
Or producers or anything.
Is that supposed to? Because always, a lot of the time, that the sort of cameraman and stuff, in the nicest possible way, Chris, I don't put you in this, they're not trained to kind of look and they go, oh, that might be a trend. That might be something how she wants her hair to look. But this poor presenter had a bit sticking out, and I laughed my head off.
Well, fair. I mean, it was probably me. My saviour was a Dyson Air wrap.
Oh, yeah.
Which, thank goodness, I've still got it now. So what was amazing for me was I just learned now what I think is a life skill that I probably should have had years ago. And I can do my makeup to be pretty presentable in a very short time.
That's good.
So I can, and I feel terrible saying this, dreading them coming back, because they would always want me for I'm a nightmare, because I can't sit still. Well, they'd want me for I would give them only maximum 30 minutes to do my makeup, which is nothing.
Oh, what, the makeup artist?
The makeup artist.
Okay.
And of course I can do it in about 15. So I was thinking, gosh, what are we going to do when they come back?
But actually, sometimes it's nice if you have got someone who comes in and knows what they want. I've had talent women who've said, here's the makeup bag, here's the makeup I like, use this. It's like, oh, that's easy. I don't have to figure out what colour matching, and I don't have to figure out what lipstick they like. They're like, I just know that, I like it. And I'm like, brilliant. Yeah. And then I'll just, put it on, check that they like it, they're happy, they can read their scripts or whatever they're doing whilst I'm doing it. And it's actually sometimes quite nice.
So if I'm doing an awards ceremony, for example, now, I would never do my own makeup. Okay. I would still need, because again, it's part of the process of becoming that person for me.
Okay.
And I need to kind of, I just know I wouldn't do it as well as they would at all. But yeah, it's definitely part of the whole thing. That is going to be Louise Minchin. She looks like she used to on the telly, and now we can
Not getting out of a lake.
Not getting out of a lake, which is not what they're expecting.
But I think it's really interesting because you've obviously come through. You've been a journalist. We're going to talk about your book and being an author. But I think, when we were younger, it was beauty and appearance was important. But I think it's become way more important now. How do you see the pressures for young girls coming up in the TV world, broadcasting, etc.?
Well, there's lots of things to think about that. So, for example, if you compare my daughters to myself, so they're 23 and 20, makeup was part of my job. So they had a very different attitude, and I've always let them experiment, do what they want with makeup, because for them, it was a different thing. It was like part of my career as opposed to, making them... I mean, obviously it's for them as well, but do you see what I mean? So I've always let them do whatever they wanted, literally with their makeup. And what I love about what they are amazing. They really, I think young people now, young women now particularly, really know how to use products. Yeah. And they just do an incredible job. And what I love about what they do particularly is and what we couldn't do, I don't think, because the makeup has changed enormously in all those years.
Formulas are much better,
aren't they? And they look so natural and so beautiful. So that's great. I don't think they particularly feel, and I might be wrong, an enormous amount of pressure to wear makeup. But I think there is an enormous amount of pressure on the way you look. But was always thus. I do think it was always thus.
Yeah.
And I may not have been into makeup, but I certainly was into, at age 15, I gave up sport, gave up swimming because of body image.
Well, women, it does fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
Statistically,
Yeah.
Women, when they get to their early teens,
Yeah.
they stop exercising. And the reason I set up my brand is because 75% of women are put off exercise by how they look.
There you go.
And particularly women, when they're young, teens,
Yeah.
they stop exercising because they're self-conscious of all sorts of different things around their appearance,
Yeah.
which for me is the saddest thing. And that's why I wanted stuff that could actually give them that confidence to go, well, I've got a bit of makeup on, you know, whatever else they're trying to do to kind of like.
And I can play tennis, or I can go do running with it, or whatever you want to do.
Or just confidence, just whatever
Yes.
it is, whatever they need to do to get out and get moving. So how did you?
So mine was genuinely about, again, because going back to the tomboy thing, and I had really short hair. And so when I was little, lots of people would go, all right, laddie. And that was mortifying.
I had the same. I had
Did
I had
you?
really short hair. My mother couldn't. She gets so cross now. We have such debate. She's like, I only had it short because it got in a mess. But people called me a little boy, and I was so girly. It was heartbreaking. How did you find it?
That was the impact. That age 15, I suddenly looked at these, because I was a good swimmer, competitive swimmer, and I looked at these muscly shoulders, and I thought,
And short
gosh,
hair.
and short hair, and thought, gosh, I'm probably looking really masculine, and I know what it is, and I don't want people to, you know, I don't know, whatever it is, judge me by my body and oh my gosh, it's just absolutely devastating for me to think about that. And if anybody listening to this podcast, because sport is what makes me, I mean, I've been running this morning. It gives me joy.
Yeah.
It holds my hand when I'm feeling stressed or anxious or whatever. And I
best stress
gave that
reliever.
up.
How long?
So for 30 years.
No.
Well, so 15, I gave up competitive sport. I never did another race after I'd looked in that mirror that day. I never genuinely did another swimming race.
That's so sad.
And I gave up competitive sport. I did a bit. I used to play a bit of tennis and do a bit of running and sometimes go to the gym, you know, try and basically, you know, keep my weight down essentially.
Yeah.
And then for 30 years later, did this thing in the BBC Breakfast. We did this challenge in the velodrome where we raced against each other on racing bikes. And I got off my bike that day. I was like, right,
I'm back.
I'm doing sport again.
And you have done the most incredible
It's
fitness.
been really
Your
fun.
triathlons.
Yeah.
You did rather well as there was a certain team that
Team. Well, in triathlon, if you can represent your age group in world and European championships.
You were a GB.
I was a
triathlete.
GB triathlete.
At what age were you when you?
45.
That's incredible. Wow.
So you have to go, and for those people who want to know, you have to go to a qualifying race and get qualifying time. And I went from really pretty much sitting on the sofa to a couple of years later doing that, and it was amazing. It was brilliant.
Couch to GB triathlete.
I know.
How do you get there? But what would you say to younger girls who are feeling unconfident about their appearance? What things can be done? Like if you're a mum and if you're a daughter or young girls?
That's a really good question. I think mums have a really key role to play, and that's one of the reasons I did get up into sport whatever it was when I was 45, because I read some research which was exactly to do with young girls giving up sport age in those teenage years. The most effective thing the research said was that the mums need to do sport, because then the girls see it as something that it becomes normalised.
Yeah.
And it's not a dad thing or a boy thing or a man thing. It's a you know, something
They need a
that
role model.
They need a role model. And I did that, and it took a very long time. And I cannot tell you how many times I knocked on the girls' doors going, do you want to go for a run? Do you want to go for a run? Do you want to go for a run?
One
How
day.
many no's I had. And now Mia, my eldest daughter, and I, we've run the London Marathon together. We did the Landmarks Half a couple of weeks ago. We run together. And it
That's
is the
beautiful.
most joyous thing in my life.
I think it is that day that they've opened the door really tentatively going, all right, can we just go around the block, mum, sort of thing. And I think it's very, very true about having those role models. And even if it's not your mother, it could be your grandmother.
Or your aunt or someone, or whatever it is, you know, follows.
Having someone who you're close to, you see moving, and you see the benefit they have and how good they feel.
And what I always try to do, so I did do the GB thing, but I'm really now just do it because I love it. And that's what I never post times. I never post anything like that because I want it to be inclusive and accessible. And I love, that is the most exciting thing for me when my first book is called Dare to Try, and it's about triathlon. And in the last couple of weeks, 2 people have come up to me. Well, a guy came up to me and he said, "I've lost 3 stone because of you." And I just,
I know, I'm going to call myself Ozempic from now on.
it wasn't easy.
I know.
Okay,
Yeah,
exactly. I don't think it was Ozempic. He said,
no, as in you could call yourself that because you're having the effect of making
that's
people lose
nice.
weight. Sorry, there was a silly,
like that.
silly sort of pun thing.
No,
but
I am Ozempic. Anyway,
Yes.
no, I want it to be, I want people to feel that there is something out there for you. And one of the best things ever to do is couch to 5K, which I've done loads of times. And I'm probably might do it even again because I don't know. Anyway, I just want it to be accessible. It's for everybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could actually do a sport podcast because I love talking about fitness and the power of it to make you feel amazing.
Yeah.
And what, those fitness and makeup, those 2 things, I think are incredible vehicles for women to make you feel good. Exercise gives you this internal energy and everything. And by the byproduct is it makes you look good because you look vital and full of energy. And equally, makeup is fascinating because when someone's sitting in a chair and I put makeup on, or I see someone start talking about makeup and how they feel when they've got it on, that's equally powerful. And I think those 2 things are amazing.
So the sport gives me the buzz, but makeup is the thing that makes me feel safe in my performance. Do you see what I mean? So if I'm going on TV, I know it's like becoming this person that, of course I'm that person, but it is like putting on the right clothes, the right outfit, whatever it is, the uniform in some ways. So it's very, very important to me.
Because you did that for a very long time. You were on the BBC for a very, very long time. And then you left. And then, it was like explore a new world. Was it, I find as a sort of, getting, mature a woman, it's harder to find work. Did you think, there's going to be loads of stuff out there? Or people come to you? What happened? How did it?
Oh my gosh, it's the most riskiest thing. I mean, I've done a few risky things, which is not a bad way, a good way. But that is the riskiest thing I've done in my whole life, is basically essentially leave my really, amazing job at the top of my game, essentially. And it was and the only reason I was able to do that was, I think, because I have done all this sport. I've jumped off a ferry in the middle of the night into a fjord in the dark.
Was that the one in
Patagonia? Patagonia, that one. I've swum under ice.
That book you did about going and fearless. I was reading about it. It's absolutely phenomenal what you went and did. And it's like, did you sort of think I need to come up with new things, or was it just I'm just going to run with my passion, or what? Did you get the loose woman phone call? Or,
no, I really didn't. I left not knowing. I left knowing that I was going to write Fearless: Adventures with Extraordinary Women. I knew I was going to do that, and I knew that I wanted to write fiction, but I couldn't be writing either of those while I was doing breakfast. It was too much, too immersive. So that's all I knew that I wanted to do. And we're kind of 3 years later, and sometimes I have moments where I go, "Oh, why did I do that? How did I give it up?" And then I go, "No, it's fine. It's all good." It was mostly about the hours.
Yeah.
I was getting up at
you went at 3 o'clock.
3:46.
4. Oh my God! I'm a terrible morning person. You just ruined for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and I didn't realize. I mean, I knew it was bad.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize until I left how much impact it had on me. That lack of sleep physically.
But then you decided to do, extraordinary, put yourself to the test. I'm a celebrity.
Oh yes.
And that's going to put you to the test. Like, it's not, I don't know, did you have to get up at 3 a.m. ever? Did you wake up?
Oh no, it's so strange, because the first thing they do is they take away all your devices. So, and then you go in there and there is no contact with the outside world. Okay. You don't have any, you've just got your celebrities that you're with. You can't talk to people behind cameras or production or anything.
Oh, you're banned from talking to
Yeah, you're just completely and utterly isolated. And so much so that you talk about getting up at 3 a.m. You have no way of telling the time.
Oh, okay.
Or the day. You don't even know what day, you don't know what time it is, you don't know what day it is. They wake you up because they're controlling, particularly because we were in the castle in Wales.
In Wales, right?
So you were in the middle of winter, exactly. And they controlled the lights. So I don't know what time they woke us up. I think they could have woken us up. I know, it was really bizarre.
Because what I love, I've just finished reading your book and I absolutely loved it. And it is basically, and did you come up with the idea for the book whilst you were on the show?
So I knew before I went into the show that I've wanted to write fiction for many, many years, and I knew I wanted to write thrillers. and I had a character who, and this sounds utterly mad, had been living with me during my whole journey on BBC Breakfast. She's based on my makeup artist. Have I told you that?
No, I didn't know.
So she's by Lauren. I mentioned her earlier. Lauren, my original makeup artist on BBC Breakfast, is basically
the female character.
yes, except she's a journalist in the book and was always a journalist in my head. But yeah, so Lauren.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Oh, I
and
like
she's
that.
still called Lauren.
Because the book is absolutely brilliant, just for anyone
Yeah.
listening. I literally couldn't put it down.
Thank you.
And I was reading it like literally the sort of last night, falling asleep, to read it again because I absolutely love a thriller. It's basically a modern day Agatha Christie, but it's got the reality TV twist in it.
Yes.
That they're on an island, Isolation Island. And tell me more about it.
So Isolation Island, so went into I'm a Celebrity, and then we were taken off air because this massive once in 100-year storm came through the whole of North Wales. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so there's this huge storm. So this has actually happened to me. What's happened to my celebrities in the book happened to me in real life. And we got taken out of the castle, and I remember being in a cab in the middle of the night in the pouring rain, driving through the dark, not allowed to talk to the cab driver or know what time or listen to the news or anything, or phone my family, being sent to, I didn't know where and I didn't know how long for. And I just thought, okay, now I know what I'm going to do. Lauren is going to go into a reality show. Yeah, Lauren, not my actual makeup artist, the character, is going to go into a reality show, and there's going to be a massive storm, and it is going to turn murderous.
It is absolutely gripping. So in the book, they're not. It's not a very safe reality TV show.
No, they're in danger right from the start.
They are in danger right from the start, but it's absolutely fascinating. It's such the zeitgeist of the moment because reality TV is so well done at the moment.
Yeah.
It's so compelling. Was there any moments, apart from obviously being whisked away, and obviously health and safety was really on its game when you were in Wales? Is it like ridiculously safe when I'm a Celebrity, or is it a little bit more?
I've signed an NDA.
God damn it! I didn't realise you had to sort of say to do all that.
No, what would I say? Okay, so in my book, they are really in danger.
Yeah.
The production team are actually pretty useless with health and safety. That's not how it is on the I'm a Celebrity, okay? So what I've done is but I did genuinely feel scared that night. So what I've done is I've taken that idea of the feeling I had of being out of control. You know, I didn't know what was going on, and I have just turned the dial up on it.
You've
massively.
bottled it, and
I've turned it up massively, haven't I? And all sorts, right from the moment that they get on the island, there are near-death experiences because are they is the health and safety useless, or is something else going on?
well,
Possibly
exactly.
say.
But it is very Agatha Christie, but it's a sort of modern. It literally is like and I'm obsessed with Agatha Christie.
Okay, so what I wanted to do, so Agatha Christie was just brilliant at. I think her locked room dramas and reality TV shows are actually the same genre.
Yeah.
So what she did was she would take characters who she knows are not going to get on with each other, and she puts them in a situation they can't get out of. Which is exactly what reality TV producers do. They know they want a certain set of characters, and they always have a newsreader type so that we can help tell the story, right? That's why I was in I'm a Celebrity. And they put them in a really difficult situation and then just wind it up.
So
I think they're both similar.
It is very true with the traitors.
Oh my gosh, traitors.
With the Celebrity traitors coming up.
So when Traitors came on, I just thought, because my book is very like, there's lots of Traitors-esque, like they're wearing, I make the celebrities wear monks' outfits and cloaks and slippers. And that was all happening before Traitors came on. And
so you wrote it before Traitors, and they're like, they're copying me.
I just thought, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. They're thinking I'm going to copy Traitors. And I thought, no, this is brilliant, because this is a great show. So if they think that I'm fine with it.
And they're such good characters, because there's a Hollywood actor.
There's a superstar, Nate.
People need to read it to realise, is it based on anyone? We'll let them
obviously not based on anyone. Have you not read the
stuff? It's lovely to sort of, in your head,
of course,
you're trying to picture who some of these people are.
Who is he?
I thought it. Am I allowed to say? If I get in trouble with legal people,
that's your imagination.
It's sort of a bit George Clooney.
Oh well, if it
meets some dastardly, horrible, naughty celebrity that's been exposed, which I want to name.
In the movie, it's not being made yet. Anybody producers?
We think it should be.
I would love George to play Nate. So Nate, when he arrives on the island, so we've got Lauren going to the island. She's an investigative journalist. You've got 10 of them all together. And when Nate arrives on the island, all of them are just like oh my gosh, they cannot believe that
Like George Clooney would come into a Celebrity.
That this massive star has actually arrived in a kayak on this deserted beach, and then it just kicks off.
I love it, and all the different characters. Going back to makeup, I love the fact that you put in the fact that your main character is sort of loosely based on your old makeup artist.
It's a lot of makeup connections.
I know. And then, but the two of the sort of younger influencer girls, because they're not allowed to have anything there on the island, no other obsession. They make their own makeup.
So they're called
with these berries.
Yes.
Where's that come from?
So they're called, two places. So they're called Tazy and Holly, and they are massive social media superstars. And you'll love this, obviously, set up their own makeup brand in their kitchen. But they are hugely successful. They earn more money than anybody else, including Nate, the Hollywood superstar. And when they arrive on the island, the other celebrities are like, I mean, who even are they? Because they're young and they're beautiful, and they just completely judge them. And I think you judge young women like that at your
we like this. Yes.
And then exactly. So they go in and they start making their own makeup, and that came with berries, with out of the charcoal from the thing, from the fire. And that was inspired by a place called Alnwick Castle, which is in the northwest, and they have I'm going to give too much away.
Northwest of England.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And they have Alnwick Castle, and there is a garden there, and I'm not giving too much away. Actually, I can't even say. Anyway, I went there and I got some really brilliant inspiration from there, and I can't say any more.
About the book?
Yeah, for the book.
Oh, nice.
But there's a lot of details I learned there about what you can make out of stuff that you can forage, essentially.
Yeah, but yes, and I'm fascinated by that whole apothecary thing, that you can make things from nature and where everything comes from. It's fascinating.
Yes, and the gardens where you used to, that's where the monks used to make medicine out of the herbs that they would find in gardens. So so go to Alnwick if you're interested in that kind of thing. You need to go to Alnwick. And you'll see why.
Because so makeup is still mentioned in the book, which is
good.
Makeup.
They're massive makeup stars,
which I love.
Huge stars.
I love the idea of that, and I was reading it, going, "Oh, I wonder where you learned about that." But now we know it's Alnwick Castle, where you can kind of discover, and there's probably some.
It's called.
They learn about
I'll give you
poison and stuff.
It's called the place I went to is called the Poison Garden in Alnwick Castle, and it is. It's one of the most interesting places I've ever been to in my whole life, and they've got plants in there. For example,
so like the Chelsea Physic Garden.
Yeah, but it's they're so dangerous, those plants. It has 24-hour security, and all these big gates, etc. And these, like a skull and crossbones above it. But it's honestly, you must go there. They do like an hour's talk, and it's the most interesting talk I have ever been to my whole life.
That's it.
Okay?
If I'm in that area, I'm gonna definitely go and check it out. So that's.
I think there's so many things to learn, but I can't even say them because actually they're really there's stuff you could do with stuff in the garden.
Sign an NDA.
No, I didn't, but I'm just I don't want to before you go. I don't want to give people ideas.
No,
just for books.
Yes, just for books. But so that was the makeup they used on the show. But I'm sure you're using nowadays slightly more up-to-date versions of makeup, and I'd love to know what makeup
nothing made by berries.
Swear by. So do tell me what is in the sort of metaphorical.
So what have we got? So we've got I'm so bad at it. So this is my favourite. This is my favourite.
This is your hourglass
lip
product.
Yeah,
lovely. And what sort of shade is that when it goes on?
Me.
Oh, this is the really good new Formula type at the moment.
Is it?
This is more the dewiness that goes on. I've got one like that you can get, a L'Oreal does. But it's these that give you the gloss. They're not too aging because they're not too matte.
Oh,
they've got that lovely lip colour gloss. It's really nice. But when you've got all this makeup on, you need to take it off.
Yeah.
What do you use to take it off?
I think that's been key to keeping my skin healthy, actually, over all those years and all that makeup, 20 years of having makeup on the telly for breakfast, and also having it baked in by the lights as well. I always use
like your little
it's sort of
grill oven.
It's like being microwaved under my skin. I've always used a kind of oil-based product, and I used an Emma Hardie, which I've been using for the last, 5 years or so. And I, get it all over my face and wash it off, and I think that's been absolutely brilliant. And I feel, that's been the most useful thing I've probably done to help my skin over the years.
So are you a big makeup? Do you like to wear a lot of heavy makeup? Are you a light everyday
well,
makeup? What's your
your
vibe?
Product, you're brilliant, and I didn't know it was yours.
Did you not? That's so
your
lovely.
brilliant tinted moisturiser is it's fantastic.
Thank you, Louise. Why do you like it?
Because given the conversation we've been going through for the last 20 minutes or so, it's light. And I don't like wearing a lot of makeup, but I do like something that's going to make me look a little
How
bit...
did you discover it?
Somebody gave me some.
Really?
Yeah, and I absolutely loved it.
That's so like you look really tearful when you look at your book.
Yeah.
I tearfully like get so excited when someone
Honestly,
says they've
so
discovered and tried my product.
A tinted moisturiser like that, something that's nice and light. I use Clarins Multi-Active Day Moisturiser, which is absolutely brilliant. And I use and I've forgotten it today. I feel like I'm literally half dressed. My eyeliner, I always use a liquid eyeliner.
Which eyeliner do you use?
And I've forgotten the name because I don't...
Is it a long wearing, is it black, brown?
Black. Yeah.
Because the ones that look, because as you get older, your eyeliner,
Probably
you get
shouldn't
it up
use
here.
black, should I?
No, you can use black, but it's just how heavy you
I
use
go for
it.
a proper nice line with a nice little tick that I'm not wearing today.
I think that's absolutely fine. And I think it just frames the face. As we get older, you lose your features. They sort of dissolve into your face. And so actually the thing you're always trying to do is define the features, but in a soft way, not in a harsh way. But I've always been obsessed with a liquid liner.
So I use Benefit liquid eyeliner,
yeah.
which I've used for years, and also their mascara as well.
Yeah. It's great. They're plumping mascara.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Is there anyone like... I mean, I try other ones, but nothing ever compares to that.
Well, it's good when you found... I mean, there's a couple I love as well. Right. And often what I'll do is I'll take... The brushes can be good. I'll swap brushes.
Oh, will you? Oh my gosh, you're proper...
If I get some formulas, I don't like the formula and I don't like the brush, so I'll put the brush into the other mascara bottle, and because it gives it more lift. Or if one's drying out and I can buy a cheaper new one, I can use the brush I like in a slightly cheaper one.
And then I will always use a creamy blusher. Like I've got a really, really nice, really expensive Chanel one at the moment, which I really like.
Yeah.
I always use that. And so I find basically if I do my eyes, if I have a nice eyeliner and good mascara, I'm pretty much, and lipstick like that, I'm pretty much good to go.
It's just enhancing a little bit. There's not the not too heavy thing, because I think it can be more aging when you put too much on.
And I wear less and less. I mean, that's why your liquid foundation is so good. I wear less and less heavy foundation, especially when I'm not on TV.
Yeah, you just want something that blurs, that doesn't feel like you're wearing anything, but that just allows your skin to breathe. It's just stuff that's light, and there's so many brilliant formulations. Cosmetic chemists nowadays are really on their game, and there's some wonderful light products that you don't have to feel like you're really committing, and it just feels like you're wearing heavy makeup. It just feels light and gorgeous.
And then always, my girls go mad. This is not a particularly good example, but always moisturiser, hand lotion.
Yeah, hand lotion. Yes. Again, have you always needed hand cream? Or
yes, I don't know why. I don't know what. No, I mean I have always, but I think hands are the most obviously aging thing.
Yes. No, I'm really bad at remembering my hands because I'm always using them to do other people, focusing on the person's face. I forget, but it's really good. And that one looks rather nice. That's the one you get from that hotel chain.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that
and it smells Kemp, and you can smell it when you go into the hotel. It always smells. When I do press junkets in those hotels, I always go,
have I stolen it?
No, you can probably buy it, and I'm sure that's sort of bought now.
I don't know where I got it from.
But so that's your sort of makeup look now. So when you go on the telly, because I love what your show you do at the moment.
Rip Off Britain, which I'm much surprised to me I'm back on the telly.
Tell me about Rip Off Britain at the moment.
Britain, if you're not aware of it, if you haven't watched the show, why not?
Yes.
So it was presented by Angela Rippon, who is my absolute hero, by the way.
She was the glamour puss back in the day.
So beautiful. She has had a massive impact on my life. So she came to my school when I was literally tiny, primary school. I was about 6, and this beautiful woman came in, who was obviously super intelligent as well, doing an incredible job. So she was probably one of the key moments in my life when just those little sparks go into your brain, don't they? And probably became a journalist because of her. So she's away at the moment, or she's doing other stuff. So they needed somebody else to join. Gloria Hunniford, who was another legend. So glamorous
and intelligent.
Yeah.
Who knew that?
And Julia Somerville.
They're great women.
Both of them. I mean, they are absolutely fabulous. Gloria, they won't mind, but they are quite a lot older than me.
You are like the sort of baby.
I'm 56 and I'm the baby in the room.
That is, and how does that feel to be the baby in the room? Are you referencing stuff and they're like, oh, that's aft,
No, it's so exciting for me. First of all, they're really funny. They're brilliant at their job, and they've got obviously years and years of experience. And I absolutely love being with them.
Yeah,
I really do.
That's so lovely.
If I could be like either of them in when so Gloria's in her 80s and Julia's in her late 70s, and I don't think they'll be offended by me saying that. If I could look like either of them and be like either of them at that age, I just think I'm winning at life.
But
They're still working, and I think that's so important.
But there's something about role models, as you were saying earlier, about how when young girls to get into exercise, they need their mother as the role model or feel to encourage them. Likewise, as you get more mature, it's so good to have women who are older, who are pioneering, and you can go, God, if I'm that person when I'm older, because age is seen as such a sort of depressing thing often.
Yeah,
and actually, if you see older women still loving their appearance and how they look, still on their game, doing the shows, having a laugh, you're like, oh, I'm looking forward to the future because I can be a bit, they're giving me hope in a nice,
honestly,
in a nice way.
So they have, their makeup is beautiful, their hair is incredible. They both got their both individual kind of styles, and they are really inspiring. And the show is, the show's been going, I think it's 17 series or 17 years, I can't remember, but for many, many years now. And there's not a program that we do that I don't learn something really, really useful about how not to get scammed or how to, stand up for yourself when something's gone wrong. And the viewers are really important. So they're sending us in, questions all the time, and we follow up amazing stories. And it's really important people do send in their stories, because what we can do on that show is go, oh, hang on a second, we've heard this about this company from now a lot of people, let's investigate. So yeah, it's an absolute joy to be with them.
So you're sort of going back to kind of your investigative journalism.
Back to having my makeup done, which is super exciting. And what I always try and do is I've got brilliant makeup artists there, and I always try and make it so that if I'm doing Rip Off Britain, I go on and do something else in the evening, because otherwise it's such a waste of the makeup. Work.
Oh, well, I love that. And is the girl from your book, Lauren your makeup?
Is in charge of the makeup artists.
Well, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so she's still the vet. And I thought I told her all those years ago, because it was so present. It was such a important part of my sort of process. I thought I told her that I was always going to write a book with her as an inspiration. And when I wrote the book, I phoned her up and said, "Oh, Lauren, I've got the book. You know the book I was talking." And she was, "You never told me." I'm like, "What? I never told you."
It was always in your head, and you thought you told her.
And can I send you a copy of the book, which is essentially inspired by you?
Oh, well, I have to look up the makeup artist and message her and get your inspiration. Oh, it's great. Louise, thank you so much.
Talked so much.
I absolutely loved it.
Good.
Thank you so much. I love doing this. It's my favourite. It's literally once a week. I love it. But Louise, thank you very much. And please, everyone out there, Louise's book, Isolation Island, is out by now, and it really is a brilliant read. If you even slightly like an Agatha Christie or you slightly like a bit of reality TV, this is like a sort of happy marriage of the two. So that's it for True Reflection this week. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. You can find me across your social media by searching at True Reflections Podcast. You can also explore my Skin and Motion cosmetics range to help you boost your confidence.
Which is excellent.
At skin.in.motion on your social media channels. I'll be back next week with another celebrity to talk through their beauty experiences, their favourite products, and delve deeper into how the ideals of beauty shapes not just our physical appearance, but the core of our identities. Until then, have a lovely week.